Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for being on today's call. This is Charlie Sylvia with Cruise Lines International Association, CLIA. I'd like to thank everybody for being on today's call. We have an exciting amount of content for you today, ladies and gentlemen, because we have in the house Uniworld Boutique River Cruise Collection. The senior leader from Uniworld, Christian Anderson, our Senior Vice President of Global Sales for Uniworld, is going to talk about their U by Uniworld product, which is different from the classic Uniworld experience. This is designed for millennials. And he's just got, now this is going to be exclusive content. You are among the first people in the travel trade to ever receive the content that you're about to hear. So please maintain close attention. We will be accepting questions, so don't hesitate to use the GoToWebinar questions field as your questions come up. And at the end of the presentation will run around between 30 and 40 minutes, and then at the end we will have time to answer as many of your questions as possible. Also, for the most attentive attendee, we have a way of tracking attentiveness. If you are the most attentive attendee, one of the two will receive a CLIA pop socket, a CLIA branded pop socket, which is a really cool device for your phone. So without further ado, I am going to right-click on our presenter's name and make him the presenter, and welcome to this webinar, Christian Anderson, Senior Vice President of Global Sales with Uniworld Boutique River Cruise Collection. Christian, are you there?
I'm here, Charlie, and I wanted to thank you and all Team CLIA for this opportunity this afternoon. I mean, this is it's just great, and we look forward to sharing all the details of You by Uniworld with your audience and with your members. You hit it right on the nail at the opening of your comments. First of all, you said senior probably 3 times too many, but thank you for that. I think I'm getting to the point in the age of my life where I like the word junior a little more than I do senior. But with that said, this is, as you rightly noted, rather exclusive content. I was literally on the B, is what we're calling her, the newest You by Uniworld vessel, and I was on the B not even 2 weeks ago on the scene in France outside of Paris, where we debuted the ship to a group of influencers, social media influencers, who have rather a combined following of over 10 million people throughout the world. So this was just an incredibly exciting time. I have to be very honest and sincere, of course, in expressing my absolute delight in the experience, because I was, you know, it's really quite interesting when you are part of something from a design perspective, and you have one meeting after another, and you're collaborating with your colleagues and your peers, and you're, you know, to use the metaphor, you are essentially giving birth to a new experience, a new product in travel, certainly new to the river cruise industry. And when you actually see that come to fruition, and you see that in reality, and you're touching it and you're walking on it and experiencing it, it was an incredibly rewarding experience. And I think the best way to express myself with my impression is that it completely exceeded all expectations. We could just not be more pleased and happier about the end product, the end result. So let's go right into it, though. There I am, and I've got 2 pictures next to my touched up and heavily airbrushed photograph, and those 2 photos are the newest super ship in what is referred to as the classic Uniworld fleet. And I'll talk a little bit about that just for a moment, but that is the Joie de Vivre. That's a photo of the dining room. If you'll see the Eiffel Tower there tucked away in the window, that's an actual real view. We are in ports in the heart of Paris, unlike many other river cruise lines that do not have that capability, the physical capability to be as close and important to the heart of Paris as we are. So the Eiffel Tower is always prominent when you are in the heart of Paris, as we are, and that's just a lovely sight. The photo just below that is a actual photograph of Suite 401 on the Joie de Vivre, which is just it highlights the incredible attention to detail and our decor aesthetic. and the refined features that we offer on board each and every one of the Uniworld ships. But let's talk about, just before I go into You by Uniworld, I just wanted to give you a quick, a little bit more of a bio about who we are at Uniworld in general, at the Uniworld Boutique River Cruise Collection. And we are truly, and you'll have to forgive me, this word is so often used that it's actually starting to lose a little of its meaning in the industry. But it's also an incredibly, I think one of the reasons that it's so overused, and I'm referring to the word luxury, is that it's very hard to find an alternative word to describe it. But we really are, we've been the leader in luxury all-inclusive river cruising for well over 25 years. And we feature luxurious ships with an average capacity of anywhere from 130 guests, exclusive excursions that have been curated and designed by people who are subject matter experts in Europe and elsewhere, gourmet cuisine, one of the highest staff to guest ratio in the river industry. We're based, our corporate office is based here in Los Angeles, but we truly offer all-inclusive itineraries throughout Europe, as well as voyages in Russia, China, Vietnam, and Cambodia, Egypt, and India, a total of 23 rivers in 24 countries worldwide. Just last night, and some of you may be a member of this consortia, just last night we were able to win the award for Top River Cruise Line of 2017 for the Ensemble Travel Group. And that just is added to the list of awards that we win. Last 2016, we were Travel and Leisure's #1 river cruise line. So it's a lot of work that goes into that, earning that award, but we are very proud of those accomplishments because we know the kind of dedication and commitment that it takes to achieve that status especially from our partners who, whose opinion we value and esteem perhaps more than just about anybody else's. Uniworld's a proud member of the Travel Corporation, affectionately known as TTC throughout the industry. It's one of the most successful privately held travel companies in the history of the industry, and our philosophy is extremely simple. We create enriching experiences for our travelers by combining an unbeatable mix of exceptional service and quality at great value, driven by passionate global team who are driven to deliver memorable experiences. And no matter what your taste, whether you're a family or a couple or a group or traveling solo, TTC offers something for everybody. And TTC's newest brand, of course, is You by Uniworld, and that's what we're here to talk about with you all today. So you've seen there on the slide, we're going to go into that just a little bit, but what is You by Uniworld? And you might have that question, you may be asking yourself that, or you've heard a little bit about it, maybe you've seen some press on it. You by Uniworld is an effortless way, and that's really the best way to describe it. It's an effortless way to travel city to city across Europe, and it's completely catered to the personal taste of, let's call them the millennial generation. And the millennial generation, as we can best define it, and I'm not a millennial, asterisk, I'm almost a millennial. I happen to be 47, so I didn't quite make it, but maybe Charles can hook me up with a fake ID or something and I can get past with this. But our millennial target is 21 to 45. And, they have that generation, if I could use that phrase, that segment of the population, certainly they just have different tastes than others, and they have different expectations. And we felt like the industry today talks so much about millennials. And what are we going to do to reach the millennials? And how are we going to penetrate the millennial market? And the millennials, that individual that walks around and they can shop on their iPhone, they can plan a trip on their iPhone, they can pay their bills on their iPhone. They would rather communicate and text to their spouse on an iPhone than actually pick up the call and sometimes make an actual voice call. And we have identified that instead of just simply talking about this and worrying about what we're going to do to reach this generation, we have taken it upon ourselves to go after this generation by meeting their expectations and their needs. So, the best way to see Europe from city to city and tailored to those personal tastes. They book, they can get excited, and we take care of just about everything else along the way. You'll discover awe-inspiring scenes, inspirational moments, and pics so pretty, Facebook friends will be just a little bit envious. And relax on board. Spend the day and the night in the town on your own. Embark on one of our carefully curated excursions. It's all up to you. It's all up to the client and how they want to spend their vacation. So think of you as a boutique hotel that moves seamlessly throughout Europe. So you're not just in Paris one night or for 7 nights. You're not just in Amsterdam. You're not just in a town in Germany. You're in Paris for a couple of nights. You're in Rouen for a night. You're seeing different scenes and enjoying different aspects of the culture that a traditional land vacation or package simply would not let you do. So there's mobility with a river cruise, and You by Uniworld does that. And you unpack and pack one time. So, what is a you guest? Who do they look like? I talked about them a moment ago. You guests are designed for between the ages of 21 and 45. And this age range basically tends to be marked with more, they like to celebrate, they like milestones, and they have a lot more of them. Graduations, engagements, honeymoons, baby moons, and so much more. And You is really the perfect way to celebrate these milestones. And it's perfect for the solo traveler as well, wanting to travel Europe, as a river cruise really does provide a sense of community, an opportunity to make new friends in the same demographic. You also offers a fantastic gifting opportunity, and that's where, I've been in this industry for 30-ish years, and this is one of the best ways that I have been able to communicate to our partners that, if maybe you don't have a clientele that is between the ages of 21 and 45. Perhaps your clientele skews a little older than that. But I can assure you that you've got a client who has a grandson that just graduated from college, or has a niece that is about to get married, or has a younger sister who just had her first baby. Whatever it might be, there is an opportunity. And whether they are interested in purchasing a cruise for themselves, or whether your client is wanting to gift them a cruise, and I'll go into the price point here in just a few minutes, but our price point has been positioned to make gifting an incredibly easy and affordable option. So it's something that we're really excited about. You also offers, just about everything you can possibly think of. And if we move right along here, I wanted to get into some of the itineraries that are so unique. And listen, we've got, where all does you go? I mean, that's the other question. I love the quote, life is too short to stay in one place, which is why our floating boutique hotel has a motor to take you just to some of the most incredible share-worthy destinations in Europe, all on one trip. And that's what's so unique about river cruising. 27 ports of call, 6 countries, 4 rivers. Would they be interested in a romantic Parisian gateway? Or how about a foodie-inspired nightlife-filled escape in the Netherlands and Germany? You by Uniworld Cruises check off all those boxes. Cosmopolitan, rustic, modern, historic, adventurous, glamorous, laid-back, majestic, authentic, inspiring. It's just how travel should be. You see it all. So, the average millennial, and in that fact, perhaps some of the average vacationer looks at Cancun for 7 days as an option. And okay, great. That's a lot of beach, that's a lot of pool, and that's a lot of buffets. And then it's repeat: beach, pool, buffet, beach, pool, buffet. And next thing they know, they're back on a crowded airplane with a sunburn and wondering if that was the best vacation of their life or it was just a chance to get away. We are focusing and featuring the best vacation experience of a lifetime. And as a result of that, You by Uniworld features immersive, experiential itineraries. You are immersing yourself in the itinerary, focusing on longer stays and destinations to connect explorers to local experience in vibrant nightlife scenes. Itineraries are planned around the U traveler's schedule, right? With late night and overnight stays in port and later excursion start times. So if you're going to be out late and you want to experience the nightlife of Paris, or you're having a late meal in Paris and you want to tap that off with a glass of wine, and you look at your watch and the next thing you know it's 12:30 or it's 1 o'clock, well, we've adjusted our itineraries to fit that preference. So you start a little later in the day, but you can go as late into the evening as into the night as you want to. Our itineraries will take our guests to some of the most dynamic, inspiring, and just plain fun cities. You know, and that's what this is all about. Someone asked me the other day, well, what is U by Uniworld really about? What's, you know, if I had to give you one word, it's fun. F-U-N. And that is, you know, we use luxury a lot. People say all inclusive. When was the last time people just used the word fun? And we've got to get back to that. We're all so busy and stressed out working. Our clients deserve the opportunity to have fun. And that's what we're really building here, is a incredibly fun, perhaps the most fun vacation experience that someone can, a millennial can have today. U by Uniworld cruises are a maximum of 7 nights with 4 itinerary options in Europe during the main season. In the winter, we'll offer a 7-night cruise market, Christmas market rather, beg your pardon, as well as a fantastic 4-night Christmas market cruise, the shortest ever cruise we've ever had, available in holiday markets. And if you're not familiar with the holiday markets of Europe during the holidays, during the Christmas season, you know, just imagine perhaps a small little town that you might be familiar with here in the States where, you know, it's decorated in Christmas lights and, you know, it's great dining and it's a lot of festivities about the holiday. So it's a really romantic and heartwarming time to be in Europe. And this 4-night option is perfect. It's absolutely, because of its price point, because of its duration. If you've got a client that is not familiar with river cruising, or they're perhaps a bit skittish, or they might think it's not for them, a 4-night introductory cruise is really the ideal way to introduce them to river cruising and to the magic that it offers. So the first U cruise, the first U by Uniworld cruise debuts next April of 2018, and will cruise all the way into the new year. And I encourage you to visit ubyuniworld.com to view more of the information about these itineraries when you have an opportunity. So let's talk about the B, because this was the ship that I was just on, and it was absolutely tremendous. It's cruising the Seine, as it says, 7 nights round trip out of Paris. So a client would fly into Paris, and then there's a 7-night cruise thereafter, and the cruises began in April of 2018. So 2 of Uniworld, classic Uniworld's existing ships, the River Baroness and the River Ambassador, are being reborn and are undergone really extensive renovations and design changes, tailoring it to those needs. I mentioned that earlier, the needs of the millennial, right? We are tailoring these changes, this design change, to the needs of the millennial, to the preferences of the millennial, to the expectations of the millennial. And all this will be completed. The B is already complete. The A is almost there, and they'll be part of our selling season in April of 2018. So speaking of the B itself, it was formerly known as the River Baroness, and it was launched just a couple of weeks ago for a special, what we called a sneak peek cruise, which welcomed about 120 guests to experience for the first time. And out of that 120, a significant portion were travel agents, and a significant portion were what I was referring to earlier, the social media influencers. And I'm happy to share what you're about to see, as Charlie rightly noted at the beginning of the call today. What you're about to see are the renderings, not renderings rather, but the photographs and the memories and the experiences that were captured on that cruise just about a week and a half ago. So this is literally hot off the press. This is an exclusive to CLIA, and frankly speaking, I can't think of a better place to share it within the membership of CLIA. So I hope you enjoy this. You know, perhaps the most striking feature of the new U by Uniworld ships are our exteriors. They are truly unlike anything on the river today. And I can say that with a great degree of certainty and assurance. One of the unique things about being in the river cruise industry is that I've sailed these rivers frequently, and I'm familiar with the ports of call and the little towns along the way. And the B sails on the Seine, the main river of France that goes into the heart of Paris. And you'll notice when you're on board a river ship that people are, on the shore side, they live there, they have homes there. They might be walking a dog, having a cigarette break, having a stroll with their loved one, whatever it might be. And they are incredibly used to seeing river ships along the river. For them, it's just another day of living on the river. What was really incredibly unique about this particular experience with you by Uniworld and sailing on the B just a couple of weeks ago is that these same people who live on the banks of these rivers and who are so accustomed to seeing river ships were literally going out of their way. And it didn't happen just one time. It didn't happen just 2 or 3 times. It happened the duration of that 7-day cruise. I saw it every single day that these people were going out of their way with taking pictures of the ship, pointing at the ship. You could see from our vantage point that it was very animated. They were discussing the ship because its exterior, its look, its feel is unlike anything else that's on the river today. It's done in a sleek black mat. And we were inspired by the idea of, you can go out to certain parts of Los Angeles or Miami or wherever you might live, and you'll see, cars that are done in a matte finish, and it's sort of a very modern, sleek look. And we borrowed that design and we applied it to the ship, and it has turned out to be absolutely stunning. You'll see in the photo on the left of the presentation, you'll see that the B is highlighted in sort of a purple neon. The entire ship has that throughout the evening, so it even heightens the design and the feel of the experience. So even when you're cruising in the evening, the B is always going to be incredibly eye-catching and really impressive. So the interior of the B, what you're seeing there is that when you walk onto the ship for the first time, you're greeted with a truly contemporary look and feel in all of the public places and open spaces. And what that photo is the lobby on the B, which takes a fresh approach on the Dorothy Draper motif, which is a phenomenal designer, and striking graphic monochromes and edgy art, right? We wanted them to feel like they were not necessarily on a ship of any kind, but more of a very sleek, modern hotel in the heart of Manhattan or on the beaches of Miami or even in Las Vegas or LA. We wanted a very modern and sexy feel to it all. And I say sexy with the most politest implication I can suggest, but just a very good, fresh feeling about things. So on board, listen, I always tell our team here in Los Angeles and throughout the company, you by Uniworld, we can never lose sight of the you, which is our clients and our partners, and we never lose sight of the fact of our history, our legacy, our foundation, the reason we do and are everything that we are, and that's Uniworld. So you by Uniworld is still Uniworld. And as a result of that, you're going to have the friendliest crew, the most responsive crew, a crew that has been trained to anticipate the needs of each and every guest. They've been outfitted and styled in incredibly stylish black uniforms, all the way down to their black tennis shoes. So what you're seeing in the picture there with their thumbs up, this was a great group of people. The guy there in the middle with the art tattoo on his arm, that was one of the bartenders on the ship, and he was so much fun to hang out with and to be around. And those thumbs up, that is their outfit. That's what you see them in every day. So it's very different than our classical, unique Uniworld product where we are a bit more accustomed to the luxury side. This is a little dressed down, a little more casual, a little more fun. And there's that word again, fun. So they really are. And in all seriousness, I think this is what's important for our clients and our partners to share with their clients is that, we feature truly the most professionally trained staff on all rivers. I don't think anyone out there has the amount that pours the amount of resources and investment into training staff as we do. We have the same staff and crew that is now on Classic Uniworld, almost 1-to-1. It's currently 2-to-1. We're working on that, along with 2 dedicated hosts. So you can think of like a hotel concierge there to sort of help and guide. And one which is from Kuntiki, which is one of our sister brands, which has been specializing in this kind of young person's travel for well over close to 70 years, and happens to also be a part of the Travcorps family. So it's unmatched service, dedicated to the enjoyment, the fun, and the pleasure of our partners and our clients, your clients. Our partners, customers we see as our partners' customers. That's how we look at everything. So we always keep that in mind, and that's what's important to us. Right there is a rendering. What I've just moved on to now is sort of the interior of the ship itself, with where the guests are staying, and you're looking at a suite. So both of the ships, the A and the B, feature 3 different room styles, ranging from look, I just need a place to lay my head, something comfortable, and a place to stash my stuff, to the I'm going all out in a suite. I'm on a honeymoon. I'm here with my girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife, and I want to really enjoy myself. And they all have, and tongue in cheek, but truly, they all have waterfront views. And here you're going to see a suite on the B. That's what you're looking at now, which is perfect for a romantic honeymoon escape or a well-deserved luxury vacation. Again, you'll notice the decor is keeping with the spirit of You by Uniworld, which is very contemporary, but welcoming and comfortable. The B has 4 of these suites on board. The next category is the balcony. It's available in our balcony rooms, which each include a French balcony. And there are 28 balcony rooms on the B alone, a similar number on the A. And a quick note, all rooms on the U ships are equipped with the latest in technology. Now, this is a recurring theme. I shared this with a moment ago, shared this with you a moment ago, that we have designed this to be built around the expectations and the needs of a millennial. Well, if the saddest thing in the eyes of a millennial is an iPhone or smartphone that is down to 2% of its battery. I mean, just, we're talking panic attack at that point. And the fact of the matter is that we are the most juiced up ship on the river today. They are able to stay ahead of technology. They are able to post and share and communicate and email and text to their heart's content. The ships that we have, You by Uniworld ships, are all equipped with Bluetooth speakers over each bed. So they can pop in their own tunes, their own preferred music while they're in their stateroom, while they're in their suite, as they're getting ready for dinner or getting ready to go out on a great excursion. They can listen to the music of their choice. And all guests can relax in comfort while enjoying what are truly incredibly modern conveniences. Studio. So our third category is the studio, which includes a picture window. And for those guests that are trying, that are going solo, the single rooms are as well. You offers the single rooms as well as solo pairing, which means that each room can be shared for those traveling on a budget or on their own who wants to share that experience with a like-minded traveler. So you can elect to have, if you have a client who's from Spokane, Washington, and they are up for the adventure of perhaps meeting a new friend, we are able to offer that at a great rate, and they can maybe partner with or share. That bed does, I know what you're thinking, and let me clarify. That bed that you're seeing in the picture there does split in half. So there are 2 beds there, but they are able to share that experience and in the process probably make a lifelong friend. And that's part of the beauty of the experience. And there are 29 of these studio rooms on board the B. Now, something I'm really anxious to get to and share with you is the triple. And for those of you who have clients that are traveling as a group of 3, perhaps it's a group of girlfriends that just graduated from college. Perhaps it's 3 guys. One of the guys is about to jump the broom and get married, and he's taking his best 2 pals to Europe for one last hurrah before the big commitment day. This is a great way to do it. This looks nothing like a traditional river ship experience from a stateroom perspective. There are 3 beds in that particular stateroom. You'll see 2 on the side and then 1 up top there. Now, if you'll notice, there's a screen that says "You by Uniworld." That's their television monitor, and underneath that is a safe. Now, what you don't see on the bedside, where they're laying their head along the wall on the interior of that bed, is all the necessary USB ports, the outlets. It's incredibly wired, so they can charge, they can text to their heart's content. It's all there along with that famous Bluetooth speaker, so they can put in their own iTunes or their own music, whatever they prefer. It's got a flat screen TV, special lighting, and these really are unlike anything you'll see on the river today. I was blown away when I saw this for the first time. And of course, I was asked, well, are you going to stay at one? And I said, well, let's not get crazy. But in all honesty, these are just about the most adorably unique and fun way for a small group, a group of friends, or even family members or kids, that 21, 22, that are maybe traveling Europe for the first time. This is a fantastic way to do it. It's priced appropriately because they are sharing, so there's a great value in the price alone. I hope I'm keeping everybody awake out there. We love you guys at CLIA. Let's see, food.
You know what, Christian? We've got a team of millennials here on the webinar, and they're all smiling, and they thought that triple was absolutely fantastic. That's all I'm going to say.
All right, well, we'll send somebody up to make those bookings right away, Charlie. Thanks a lot.
Sure thing.
Listen, let's talk culinary. Uniworld, our classic Uniworld is a celebrated culinary and cuisine experience throughout the industry. We are our master chef, so to speak. Our inspiration is Mrs. Beatrice Tolman, the founder of Red Carnation, and one of the owners of our company, the spouse of our owner. And the beauty of this food is the one thing that we really wanted to do in interpreting Mrs. Tolman's vision for this generation. We said to ourselves, let's keep it fun. Let's keep it festive. Let's keep it unique, unlike any other aspect out there, but let's not lose sight of who we are and what our identity is, and that means quality and quality and quality. And her mantra to every chef, which we have incorporated into how we feel about the experience, is no matter what, the food has to be delicious, right? So we take the best destination, we take the best of the destination that we're in, and we interpret that into our cuisine. And culture is really often experienced through taste. I mean, let's face facts. If you're in Italy, you got to have Italian food. If you're in France, you've got to have French cuisine. And with that in mind, many of our onboard meals are inspired by the local fare of the cities that we visit, made from ingredients that are sourced locally, right there down the road perhaps. And you can see it every time we're in port. You'll see new food coming on board, and it's not coming from Cisco or it's not coming from Alliance Foods. It's coming in big wooden crates that are fresh produce that is sourced right there locally from the town or the village or the city that we're in along the way. But guests also have a lot of classic options because, again, it's got to be delicious, and and we love comfort food on the U by Uniworld. So if you've got guests with special dietary needs, we're happy to accommodate. We have plenty of vegan, vegetarian, and incredibly healthy dining choices, which also happen to be incredibly good. I should know. I ate most of them. And on board, You can anticipate a creative modern dining experience, many organic with organic vegetarian healthy options. But if you're craving a slightly less than healthy, all American, so to speak, juicy burger with bacon, jam, goat cheese, and a fresh side of, here I go, French fries, we've got you covered. We're going to make sure you're taken care of. We're going to make sure that guest is happy and satisfied. And these are just some great options that you're seeing on the screen of what that incredible cuisine looks like. So when on board, the guest will have 2 meals a day included. That's included in the price. And if you know a millennial, let's just say breakfast is not a big priority, because by the time a millennial, if they're on vacation and by the time they get around to eating, it's 11 o'clock perhaps. So they've got their lunch, they've got their dinner covered, and a lot of times they want to be out. They don't want to be on board the ship. They want to be out in the city that they're visiting and you know, on an incredible excursion. But here's a group of guests. Here's a group of guests on this left side that was on the sneak peek, and they were about to enjoy fantastic cuisine in our completely redesigned restaurant, which is called Dine, D-I-N-E. And we know the traveler wants options and flexibility to discover the cities we're visiting. So we absolutely encourage guests to get out into the city, into the village, into the town they're in, and experience that local cuisine. And our hosts are able to recommend and arrange any of those experiences if that's what the guest and the customer is wanting to do. We've also partnered with a really exciting company called Vizeat, V-I-Z-E-A-T. I encourage you to look them up and Google them. For the lack of a better phrase, and I'm doing it poor justice by calling it the Airbnb of the culinary world, but don't get caught up on that. Let me share with you what Vizeat really is. Vizeat is a way to immerse yourself in the local culture by experiencing the cuisine offered by a family or a host within that city. I was able to experience one as part of my U by Uniworld experience a couple of weeks ago in the heart of Paris. We went to a gentleman and his wife's home. He was a retired cardiac surgeon, and they prepared an incredibly lovely meal. And I met people from China. I met people from the UK. I met a South African, and I was able to enjoy the hospitality and the warmth of this lovely French couple who were hosting us in their own home with a home-cooked meal. And this allows the guest to hop off. Your customer can hop off the ship and head to a famed local restaurant as well, or a local home, because it's done in both restaurants and in homes, and they can make new friends and discover the destination from a very local and authentic perspective. You're able to see the destination they're in from the vantage point of your host. You know, Charlie's in Washington, D.C., and a lot of people have been to Washington, and Washington's an incredibly exciting town. But if Charlie wants to invite someone into his home or someone into, or if he wants to show them Charlie's Washington, you know, and that's what the Vizeat experience is all about. And that's what the U by Uniworld experience is all about. We are sharing that destination and all its magic, all its beauty with our guests from this perspective. So I think it's incredibly awe-inspiring what that really means at the end of the day. So here's the deck, the rooftop, right? One of the hot spots on board. And guests can grab a bite to eat from Eats as a second dining option, or they can have a drink up at the bar on the top, which is the second bar on the ship, or they can relax and enjoy the view of the cities as we cruise by. I mean, there we are in Paris. That's a real shot at both of those. That's always my favorite part of the ship. I like to get out in the fresh air, and that was an incredibly sexy and fun way to do it. It was on the deck, as it were, coincidentally, that we hosted a really unique sort of, you know, we didn't want to do things in a very traditional way with the launch of the U by Uniworld ship, the B. We wanted to do things slightly different. And what you're seeing there is a drum circle. And, you know, it really was what a drum circle's really intended to do. And I guess there might be some sort of spiritual aspect to it. But in the end of the day, what it's really all about is getting everyone to beat on one drum, in one rhythm, and in one accord. And it was just an incredibly heartwarming experience, rather, to have all these folks from all different parts of the world. We had Australians, we had Americans, we had Brits, we had South Africans, we had folks from everywhere that were beating a drum in harmony with one another, and they had met each other not even 2 days prior before that. So it was just a great way to sort of break that ice, so to speak. And if you want to see more photos and videos from our sneak peek, just search the hashtag all over social media, Travel4You. That's TRAVELFORU on any social media site, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And you can see a lot of the fantastic posts from some of our guests. The ice bar. Okay, well, here's, if you wanted to know what my favorite part of the ship was, we just found it. Matter of fact, that photo of those Moscow mules looks incredibly enticing right about now. But the rooftop allows access to what is really just another revolutionary space on the rivers, the ice bar. It's sitting atop the B. The ice bar offers refreshing drinks and cocktails, but it's really just a fun social environment for our guests to mingle, celebrate, and make new friends. So of course this is on the top deck. So, you know, you're inside the deck, the ice bar there, having a drink with a friend. And then if you want to step right outside and walk around the deck and enjoy the fresh air, you're right there in the heart of it all. And keep in mind, whether it's Amsterdam, whether it's Paris, you are right there. You know, we also host a lot of nightlife activity, including one of my favorites, the silent disco. And if you're not familiar with what a silent disco is, the big picture there with the folks with the headsets on, they are all listening to their own music. They are all listening to different songs, and they are all dancing and enjoying and laughing to that experience. Now, if you were to take your headset off, you are watching 40, 50 people dance and move around to silence. And that's what's so cute and unique and fun about it. Because how many times perhaps you've been out at a disco, perhaps you've been out at a club or a bar or what have you, or in some sort of social setting, and it's an incredibly loud experience, and you're trying to speak to the person next to you, and they simply cannot hear you because of the background noise. Well, in this particular environment, you can have a pretty in-depth conversation if you so choose, and everyone hears each other incredibly well because of the silent disco aspect. But it's also incredibly fun. From you might be an ABBA fan, and your friend might be a Diana Ross fan, and your other friend might be a Metallica friend, whatever it might be, and everyone has the opportunity to sort of dance to music they personally enjoy, as opposed to waiting around and hoping that the DJ gets there to your song one part of the night. So it's an incredibly fun experience. I have to say, every night that we did this, it was packed. It was packed till the wee hours of the morning, and everyone had a great time. And then the U Lounge, it's another social spot on the ship. This is a place too for after an hour after dinner drink, or perhaps a meeting spot prior to stepping out and exploring the city. As you can see, the decor is done in dark, sexy black and grays, lit by mood lighting below. It's just an incredibly enticing spot to be a part. Here's another view of the same room, more toward the upper deck, toward the deck of the ship, to where you see the fantastic panoramic windows all around the city, the black and red check inspired motif. It's just really great photo opportunities. Just see yourself and see your client, see your customer sitting there having a scotch, having a cocktail, having a martini, enjoying that moment, and tell me that they're not going to come back and thank you for the experience, and introducing them to You by Uniworld. A lot of the fun things that we did, we had a pajama party one night, and that's something that we can always arrange on board the ship. So you can just see there, people were having a blast in their silk pajamas. You know, it always, one of the things that people often ask on an event like this is, well, what's the dress code? What am I wearing? Well, it's a really simple answer: silk pajamas. You know, any kind of silk pajamas that you want. And it was a great evening, a lot of music and dancing and fun. But you know what, let's talk about something that I think is really more to the heart of the river cruise experience, and that's the excursions, or what we call U time. And at every stop along the U journey, guests are given the option to explore in one of three ways: included excursion activities, which means they've already paid for it as part of their fare; optional U-time outings; or self-guided tours of the cities. U excursions are different from what is being currently offered on the rivers. And they're designed, and the reason why is because they are designed for, basically the you traveler, that millennial in mind. For example, here's one excursion, a mixologist dream. A mixologist is a glorified way to say bartender, right? Smack dab in the heart of Amsterdam, the heart of bowls, B-O-L-S. Feel free to Google it. The House of Bowls, B-O-L-S, is the world's largest hands-on cocktail exhibit. Its cocktails and Jennifer experience chronicles the history of traditional Dutch liquor and lets guests discover their favorite flavor in the Hall of Taste, where they'll meet the master distiller and create their own custom cocktail. And we arrange every aspect of that from beginning to end. We get you there and we pick you up and we make sure that you're having a ball in between. Our itineraries are also chock full of you time, specially planned additional excursions, events, and activities created by our destination experts, people who know the market. They know what they're doing. This is where they live. This is where they grew up, and this is what they've personally experienced. And most days, you'll have several you-time options to choose from in between your already included excursions. Some are relaxed and low-key, while others are for the high-energy crowd. But all are designed for you to experience the places that can be visited by a client in the most authentic, local fashion. And with the added benefits of the best prices in the market, transportation to and from the ship, and the backing of our staff to ensure the quality of the experience and that your cruise is going to be a phenomenal adventure, is exactly what you'd like to be, and you just simply can't go wrong with that. One of the other really cute things is our bicycles. I mean, these are some sexy bicycles, right? For guests looking to explore the city on their own. You don't want to do a guided excursion. You don't want to do a guided tour. Perhaps you've already been to Paris. And you know where you're going and you want to get out and enjoy it. You provides complimentary bicycles for our guests' use. In fact, we've got over 50 of these brand new black bicycles available for our guests, so there'll never be a need to wait for a bicycle or hear that the bicycles are already in use. Bicycle travel is really one of the most perfect ways to explore city, as you probably well know, and stay active and fit on vacation as well. No harm in getting a little cardio while you're enjoying. You know, how many juicy burgers can you have and French fries? You got to get out and do a little cardio as well, and that's a great way to explore it. And speaking of getting a little exercise, look, millennials enjoy physical fitness. They enjoy staying healthy, and this is one of the largest gyms on the river. We're doing a little research because we think that it might be the largest gym on the river, but basically we expanded this by almost 3 times from its original size. And so speaking of staying active, we've got very active options. Fitness and yoga classes on board every morning are included for our guests. But rather than starting at 7 a.m. and then so they'll start later in the day, once again, our yoga starts later in the day than at 7 a.m. or sunrise. So it accommodates and it caters to the millennial who said, look, I was out last night till 4 in the morning. I don't think I want to be up at 7 doing yoga, but I can definitely join the 11 a.m. class. And that's what it's all about. It's accommodating those needs. So here's just a photo of the gym. I was there every day. I tried my best to be there every day. I think I made it. And, you know, one of the other, you know, look, we're a modern company. The Travcorp family of companies is completely committed in protecting our environment as good stewards of this earth. And I mean that in the most sincere fashion. We place a huge emphasis on sustainability. Almost a decade ago, Uniworld, classic Uniworld, introduced a clean water program to preserve rivers and waterways, and we've seen all of our peers in the industry follow our lead in the example that we set in doing so. And we are continuing our position as leaders in sustainable tourism by introducing what we call earth-friendly initiatives on the U, and the U by Uniworld is completely paperless on board, including all drink and dining menus. It's presented to a guest on a screen. So if you're sitting in the dining room and you would like to know what the menu might be, all around you in appropriate locations and tastefully done are monitors on the wall that are in large font, identify for you what today's special is, what the soup of the day may be, or what today's options or menu is. As opposed, you can take a look at that, and when your staff person, when your waiter comes by, you can let them know you'd like to have whatever the option might be. So, we also utilize a lot of digital technology, such as apps to communicate. We communicate on board with our guests through WhatsApp, so we encourage them to download that so we can text a need or text a concern. If they need something done for their suite, we can make sure that it happens in real time. We also take steps to ensure that our onboard amenities and staff uniforms are eco-friendly. So travel's provided us the chance to give back. And, that's something we really believe in, and hopefully lift up others. We always say that we don't want to provide a hand out. We want to really provide a hand up. And by taking care of the environment and making sure that the processes that we put in place and the actions that we take are sustainable, we feel like that we're doing what's best. And also, I think it matches the values of our millennial generation. Well, I happen to think it matches the values of the American people, and that's my take. So U is completely paperless on board. All menus are on the screens. WhatsApp for guest communication. My Travel Space, my U, it's a mobile tool. Be Kind organic amenities. That's hand soap, shampoo. It's all organic. Uniforms are made from recycled materials, and local suppliers are used when possible, which is the majority of the time. So what's included with you? I've taken a lot of your time today, so I'm going to try to wrap up here very quickly. And if you have any questions, I'd be glad to take them. But what's included with you? 2 meals a day, fresh farm-to-table buffet, specialty coffees and teas, non-alcoholic drinks, a welcome party, 2 dedicated U-hosts that are on board to help guide the vacation experience, unlimited Wi-Fi, excursions, gratuities on board ashore already included, fitness classes already included, yoga, Pilates, whatever it might be, local celebrity DJ party on board included, a wine tasting or beer tasting on board included, onboard entertainment, wine and paint, silent disco, cooking classes, etc., all included. Pricing, let's get to the heart of it, right? Pricing, we feel, is probably the best value on the river today. For all of what you're getting included for this incredible experience, it starts at around $250 per person per day based on double occupancy for a 7-night European cruise on U. And these folks, these pictures, these are not models. These are real people that were enjoying their experience and having a great time. So groups, we get asked about this all the time. It's a great way to have a vacation, is to travel with a group of friends. So, we have what we feel to be the most competitive group policy with the U by Uniworld experience. It's 1 for 9 TCs that literally the 10th guest is free. Groups receive $200 per person shipboard credit that can be applied in a multiple of ways. We have a travel agent rate for our partners at 75% off when booking 5 or more guests. And there's a 5% bonus commission when booking 10 or more guests. So in addition to your standard commission, you get a 5% bonus commission when booking 10 or more guests. So listen, what we really wanted to do today was to be as honest as possible and as transparent in communicating and sharing with you this exciting new, we affectionately refer to it as making history with the U by Uniworld experience. And the reception has been amazing. Everywhere I go, whether I'm talking to travel agents or travel partners, or whether I'm talking to consumers and clients, wherever I am, or just industry peers, people with other cruise lines or airlines or travel operators, everyone's really super excited about what's happening with U by Uniworld. Because as I mentioned at the beginning of today's presentation, a lot of folks have talked about it. How are we going to reach the millennials? What are we going to do? A lot of folks talk about it, but a lot of folks just haven't found a way to do anything with that. Well, we feel like we have sincerely found a way to do it, and we feel like it's judging by the initial response that we've gotten in the market. Look, it's selling incredibly well. People are so happy about it, and I can't wait for you and your guests and your clients and customers to experience this as well. They know if you have not yet grown your millennial client base, and this is an important point, but you have Uniworld guests already within that client base, reach out to them, give them a call. They know and love clients. They know and love Uniworld, but you can rest assured that they have children or grandchildren or nieces or nephews or friends that they are a perfect fit for you by Uniworld. It always starts with, if I'm selling classic Uniworld and someone says, I don't know if I have a Uniworld customer. Well, do you have a customer that's ever stayed at a Ritz-Carlton? Do you have a customer that's ever stayed at a Four Seasons? If that's the case, if that's the answer, then you have a Uniworld customer. Write down 5 of those people and give them a call and tell them about this exciting opportunity on Uniworld. If you have Uniworld or other clients that are slightly older, they've got children, they've got grandchildren, they have nephews and nieces and cousins and friends that the You by Uniworld experience is a perfect fit. So do yourself a favor, sit down and write out 5 names of these folks who would be a good fit and give them a call, because now is the time. This is fresh. They're not going to be catching up to something that someone's done 3 years ago. They're going to be pioneers in this experience. This is a brand new experience globally that we've introduced into the industry, and they can be the first of amongst their peers to go out and have a great time, have a lot of fun and experiences. So You is perfect for gifting, as I mentioned, so that's a great way to communicate it as well. And I really, really highly recommend that you reach out to these folks and share what you've learned here today about You by Uniworld and Uniworld itself. So lastly, the last thing I want to say before we open up to questions is I'll finish this presentation the way I started, with expressing our sincere gratitude on behalf of everyone here at Uniworld for Charlie and his colleagues at CLIA and for all they do for our collective industry within travel, but also for you partners out there on the phone today who have taken the time to hear me and to listen in, so I can share with you the incredible news about You by Uniworld and all things that are happening here. Listen, your time is precious, it's important, and most importantly, it's appreciated. So thank you all very much. We are here for you. If you need any further support and assistance, please do not hesitate to reach out. And Charlie, I'll turn it over to you now. If there's any questions, we can go forward from there.
Yes, absolutely. Kristen, thank you so much for this fantastic presentation. And ladies and gentlemen, in the chat box, I have added links to the You by Uniworld Facebook page, their Instagram account, their Twitter account, and their Snapchat account, as well as the hashtag #TravelForYou. So you can check that out in the chat box. And please, I encourage you, follow You by Uniworld on all of those platforms. Again, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. And don't forget that hashtag #TravelForYou. Christian, I'd just like to turn things over to, very few people realize that here at CLIA, one of our rocks of Gibraltar, I like to say the backbone of CLIA here, is my own personal millennial colleague, Danielle Haney, who's going to give you the questions that we've collected. Danielle?
Fantastic. Thanks, Danielle. Thanks, Charlie.
Hi, Christian. Hi, Charlie. That really was such a great presentation. The ship looks amazing, and the interior is definitely Instagram worthy, which is key for a millennial. And also I actually live with 2 of my best friends here in Washington, D.C. So the triple room is seriously an amazing idea, and I love it. So we do have a couple.
I'm glad to hear it, and I just wanted to extend that. Anytime you're ready, you let us know, you and your friends.
Yeah, definitely. We'll definitely be sure to follow up with you.
I know a few good travel agents you can call and they'll help you make that booking. No worries.
Awesome. All right. The first question is from Julianne, and she wants to know if there is one traveler interested who is the age of 42 and say their partner is 47, how would that scenario work out?
Okay, we do get this question frequently. My spouse is 36, I'm 47, so I'll just make it personal. My spouse can go, I can't. So, you know, it's just, we really want to, if you are familiar with Kontiki and the success that Kontiki has had for over 70 years, our intention here is to really protect the sort of integrity of the experience. And, you know, listen, if we start to make exceptions along the way, then what we're trying to do can be a little compromised, and we just want to make sure that we keep that focus. I think it's the best way to say it.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Okay, great. All right. So John actually asked if the staff on board are also of that age range, which I assume would be the case.
I'm sorry, say it again.
Sorry, the staff on board, they also fall within that same age range.
Oh, yes.
Well.
Everyone on board is within that age bracket. Absolutely.
Great. And then, so Rachel said that she loves the triples idea as well. Do they all have the same design?
Well, the two ships have, there's a slightly, the A is going to look slightly different than the B. It will not be, it may not be, so the B is done in a lot of black and white and gray, and the A may not have that exact color pattern, but the overall, the way the suites are categorized, the way they look, yeah, they'll be very similar to one another. So both ships will have the tripod stateroom, etc. They'll have a balcony, they'll have the suites. It'll look very similar.
Oh, great. So they all have the same features. They're just a little bit different design-wise.
Well, yeah, that's exactly right. Absolutely.
Got it. Sean asks if there are any other options available for food other than the two designated meals.
Well, there is room service. You've got that available if you so wish. But the meals are pretty much, you know, standard. In other words, you can certainly have whatever dining options you want, whether you want to order room service, whether you want something at the bar, what have you. But, you know, that is not necessarily included in the fare. What's included in the price of the fare is, you know, you get two great meals, typically lunch and your evening dinner. And what we have found, and we put in an enormous, and I have to stress this, we put in an enormous amount of analysis, as you might imagine, launching a brand new brand. We didn't want to do it without doing our homework. And we put an enormous amount of analysis and determined in that analysis that you know, when on a vacation, when on a experience like a river cruise, folks do not necessarily want to sit around the ship all day. They want to get out and explore. They want to see what the local culture and the local flavor is all about. So we found that lunch and dinner, because we have some late risers, but lunch and dinner made the best sense and has been received incredibly well by everyone so far.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so I know we're a little bit over time, so we'll just do a couple more questions. The next question is, okay, so we are going to be sharing a recording of this webinar. I see a couple of questions about that. And Sean also wants to know, what are the usual prices on alcoholic beverages on board?
Well, I would say that they are not your standard, it's not New York or Miami or LA, and it's not a nightclub in Paris. So you're not paying 25 euros for a cocktail. It's reasonably priced. I think it keeps in mind a budget conscious consumer. I don't have the pricing in front of me, but I could easily say, you know, that it's something I think the typical guest will have no problem in paying. We intentionally designed it that way.
Great. So it's kind of like if you would go to a city, kind of those kind of drink prices. So
yeah, I think so.
Normal. Yeah.
I think it's. Let's see here if I could perhaps try to find a descriptive metaphor that might break that down a little bit more. It's not Miami Beach pricing, It's probably a little bit more Brickell pricing. It's not Manhattan pricing. It's maybe Long Island pricing, if that makes sense.
Cool.
So
yeah, that makes total sense.
That makes complete sense.
I think we intentionally designed it to where, listen, people are they want to have a good time. They're on their vacation experience, and in some cases, perhaps for the first time as an adult. And we wanted to ensure that they're not overburdened with, gosh, you know, it costs 20 euros to have a beer. That's ridiculous. Others might follow that path. We find that to be counterproductive, and we democratized it. I think we made it incredibly appealing to the bulk of our guests.
Great. Yeah, that makes complete sense. Okay, so I'll answer one last question, and this is from John. He wants to know if you can book You by Uniworld through the regular Uniworld channels, or is there a separate process?
No, not a separate process. We're one big family, and all they have to do is either contact their district sales manager if they've got sales support, or their inside sales coordinator here in Los Angeles, or typically just through either River Currents, our online booking portal for travel agents, or perhaps the most traditional method, which everyone typically does, is just contact reservations, and they'll walk you right through the booking process and get all your customers taken care of.
Great. All right. Well, I think that concludes our questions portion.
I just actually sent the link out for the YouTube channel as well. So now you've got everything. Thank you for asking about the YouTube channel, Julianne. Christian, nothing more on the CLIA end, except for tremendous thanks to you and your entire team for this fantastic presentation. I'm a big fan of Uniworld, both the classic experience as well as You by Uniworld, and this is a tremendous opportunity for our travel agency and agent members out there, and I just thank you so much. And ladies and gentlemen, we will be announcing the winners of the pop sockets in the email that we send out with the download for the recording. But Christian, thank you for this opportunity.
Danielle, Charlie, everyone at CLIA, and everyone that joined us today, thank you. I mean, it's been great. We've enjoyed sharing this with you all. You know, the last thing I'll leave everyone with is that we are completely reliant on trade support and trade revenue. We take our partnerships incredibly serious, and we provide multiple layers of support, from training to engagement with our field sales and inside sales staff, to ensure that all of us really take advantage of our shared potential and our potential success. So thank you all. Thank you, Charlie, and we look forward to hopefully doing something like this again very soon.
Terrific. Thanks, Christian. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.